1,000 subscribers in our give back model can generate up to 120,000 US dollars for a nonprofit a year in their give back. Now, that can equal, if you're talking about meals, dollars and meals can equal almost 500,000 meals for the community.
We really sat at our kitchen table going, how could we make giving back automatic? And Wade said, well, what if it was a utility? Because everybody pays utilities. Well, I don't have access to a power bill or power grid. I don't have access to the water systems, but everybody's got a cell phone. And I think it was just the emerging of an idea and an opportunity coming together at the same time. People are connecting to not just that it makes sense and it's possible, but they could be a part of this.
Did you know?
Did you know what percentage of nonprofits miss their budget targets in the USA each year? Find out at the end of today's episode. My name is Ian Ginn, and I'm the host of Digitel Talk. I'm delighted to have Wade and Koddi Dunn from Love Mobile as our guests today, who I first met in 2025 at the MVNO Nation in Alicante, Spain. Welcome to the podcast, Wayne and Koddi.
Hello, Ian.
Hello.
So to kick off, could you briefly introduce yourselves and the idea behind Love Mobile?
So I am Koddi Dunn, CEO, co-founder of Love Mobile. We run this organization together. My partner and husband is Wade Dunn, COO, as well as co-founder. And Love Mobile is a cell phone company that gives back when you pay your bill. What does that mean? So every time a subscriber pays their bill with Love Mobile, every bill every month, we give back in a hyper local capacity to nonprofits, education, the environment, community services, pet adoption, and care. Giving back is baked into the foundation and framework of the cell phone company. And so it's a new way to approach telecom, and we're excited about it.
That's fantastic. And Wade, what do you have to add to that?
I think she covered it. I mean, we started the company. It was literally a kitchen table conversation a few years ago, and the thought was, how can we make giving automatic? Right? We were very active in our community as our family. We have me and Koddi are married. We're not only co-founders in business, we're co-founders in family, and we have 7 kids. And they were going off to college, and we were trying to figure out. When we made the impact in our local community, and the kids surprised us and decided to go off to college like out of state. So I was like, okay, well, that's beyond what we've been working on in our community. And we had to figure out how can we make give back automatic? How can we make this where so many nonprofits in the communities were underfunded and still are. I mean, that's I mean, it's there. We want to figure out how to make it automatic. So we literally try to figure out how to do this, and we landed on Telecom. So we say this, but it's a true story. We didn't start the company and decide to give back afterwards. Like, we didn't do that. We literally decided to give back, so we started the company. So it's baked into when we say baked into it, this isn't an add-on. We didn't piece this together. We started that with the foundation. So everything you will see with Love Mobile has built into it the ability to support nonprofits on a monthly basis.
So, I mean, that is amazing, a laudable concept as well. And one of the things I notice is there's palpable energy in the room, right, with you two. And where does this magic come from, and how does this translate into this project and this Love Mobile?
I think we are authentically ourselves. And I think people connect with that. So many organizations spend a lot of time on being perfect and being polished and just presenting everything packaged just so. And I just rather be real. You know, I'm a mom. We did this company because the greater society as a whole was failing. And I tell people we had this nice little bubble of an existence with our beautiful babies. And I call them my babies. The oldest is like 29. But something happens because they tell you to create the perfect life, the house, the dog, the 2 cars, all the things. And then the kids go, well, we need to leave this bubble. We need to go out into the world. And the world is a scary place. And so I think parents connect to that story. I think people see our sincerity. We were really sat at our kitchen table going, how could we make giving back automatic? And Wade said, well, what if it was a utility? Well, because everybody pays utilities. Well, I don't have access to a power bill or power grid. I don't have access to the water, systems,
Hmm.
but everybody's got a cell phone. And I think it was just the emerging of an idea and an opportunity coming together at the same time. And I think people are connecting to not just that it makes sense and it's possible, but they could do it. Like they could be a part of this. This is a movement that everybody can join in on. And I think that's why you feel that energy, that synergy. It is a emergence of goodwill. It
Yes,
is here it is, Ian. It is hope rising.
that's fantastic. I like that. That's great.
That was great. It was.
We need to bottle that, right? As well.
Yes.
That with every subscription that gets bottled and sent to those customers. But it does spread. Goodness does spread. But of course, as you say, you sort of came up with we want to give back, and then you went, how do we do this? Utility, and you went to telco. So that's the next area I wanted to sort of ask you about was how did you find the immersion into the telco industry and then launching Love Mobile? Because obviously, I must admit, I've worked in telco for 30 years, and we're a bit quirky and we love our acronyms. And for people coming from the outside, I sort of think it's quite a baptism of fire, literally.
Yeah, I think so. We did a lot of research, right? A lot of research. We didn't come from Telecom. We had a great idea. And this is how delusional, Ian, we were. We said when we had this idea, like, let's make it automatic. Let's do Telecom. It was like, yes, let's do Telecom, right? Green. We had no idea what Telecom. We just knew we wanted to do Telecom. So this is just how we are, though. So we are researchers. We are constant learners, right? We are constant studiers. We study stuff. We love our favorite date night is watching documentaries, right? That's literally like if we get a good documentary, shut the house down. We done, right? We're in there for hours studying history, studying different things. So we took the same mind when we did this into the telecom space. And the first thing we started researching was, what options are there? And then we realized, okay, MVNO. Okay, that's something where you don't own the infrastructure. You just own your part of it. And we started going to conferences, and it led to us meeting people and started asking questions, started doing research, talking to different vendors. And this was like a 5-year process. So people always say it's like overnight success. There's no such thing. It is like a seed in the ground that is growing beneath the ground before it breaks the surface. You just see the moment it breaks the surface and assume that that's when it started, but it started beneath the ground. And that's what we were doing for years, beneath the ground, just kind of working and building, trial and error, research to where we were able to get to the point now where we've launched it on all 3 networks. But it was literally and also we simplify things. There are a lot of acronyms in this space, right? A lot of abbreviations. But at the end of the day, I ask one question every time I deal with anyone. I say, okay, so we know what we're trying to do. So the question is simply this: natively, or whatever you're talking about with all the acronyms, natively, does it do this? And if they say natively it does this, okay, I don't care what you call it. The use of it for what we need it for, this is what we're calling it, right? And that's how we was able to like utilize understanding industry, understand what we needed from the industry to do what we're doing, and then make decisions based off the native function of whatever acronym, whatever they're talking about, the native function, to use it in our space to build the telecom company we need to give back.
Today's episode is sponsored by IFG Consulting Europe, who help operators to tap into technologies to accelerate digitization of the network, drive revenues, and reduce costs by championing promising software providers in telecoms, enterprise, and mobile markets. Go to ifgconsultingeurope.com to find out more.
I would add to that we did our research, yes, for the industry, but we saw that we had value, to add to the industry. And for years, we were going to a particular conference and they needed help with their marketing for, some of the smaller retailers. And so we were able to present marketing under a sister company. And that gave us access into the world, even on a deeper level of telecom, and meeting up close some of those decision makers and having those conversations and just kind of saying, hey, here's what we're thinking. What is your best advice, right? And sometimes people are hesitant. I say that because people can be hesitant to go into new arenas where they don't know anyone, and they're the new guy, especially if you are, an expert in your field. But lean into that. Go. We went, not knowing anyone that first year, 5 or 6 years ago. And those are some of the, people that led us to the relationships that have turned into, the Love Mobile you see today. It's because we had introductions and meetings and, okay, now you know me and you know what I'm trying to do. And hey, you need to meet this person. And, none of that comes if you stay at home in your little corner where you're comfortable. You've got to get out there and be willing to say, here's what I'm trying to do. I don't know what I don't know, but where's your area of need? Maybe I can help you. And we brought a lot of value into those rooms. And in exchange, they led us into conversations that help us to get to where we are today. So it was knowing your value, bringing that value, and then being in a position to exchange with the industry that you want to, be a part of. It can't always be take. You've got to give something, and we showed up year after year with books and resources trying to help some of those retailers understand what our background was, which was online marketing and streaming technology, right? How to market to a different audience. And so as we became trusted in that area, they began to engage with us and help us do some of the things that we were trying to do.
Fantastic. And can you maybe talk us through exactly how the model works and who benefits on the ground? I know you, in the introduction you mentioned it, but like sort of more tangible sort of examples of how it's being deployed and used.
Koddi, you want me to go? You want to go? Because I saw your eyes get big.
Either or, because we love that question. The way that it works, of course, the general public subscriber can come to getlovemobile.com and select a plan. We are on in the United States. We are on all three major network carriers. So you can pick blue, pink, red. We don't say the names, or you can have all three on your device. And so, from a general public standpoint, we're just a traditional MVNO. You can come and be a subscriber. But what we do is take it one step further, because we have what we call nonprofit partners in addition to the traditional model that everybody else has. With our nonprofit partners, they get a partner referral link, and we literally give back on an automatic basis and a continual basis to those nonprofit partners for every subscriber that comes to Love Mobile utilizing their link. And it is a way for those nonprofit partners to make up, budget deficits. And it's not a one-time play. I was talking to a nonprofit partner earlier today, and I said, in any other world, if you do something major and then you only get a one-time return on it, well, that's not a success. But in fundraising, they do all this for, a big event, and people write a check once and then they go away. Well, this is not that. This is continually supporting that nonprofit on an ongoing basis with a portion of the revenues generated from those subscriber links. We don't charge them to be a nonprofit partner. They do have to qualify. But beyond that, it's like, come on, let's work together to utilize your database and let them be an ongoing resource for you with something that they already have and they're already utilizing, which is literally the cell phone.
Right. And of course, I mean, in a way, that's also leveraging that bill relationship and making what can be a scary thing a positive thing. I'm receiving a bill. Are you transparent in that sense? Is there anything on the bill that indicates that some of the money's going back to that a charity, or is there a connection there at all? I don't know how you do that.
No, so what we do right now, well, I'll say this. We don't have it on the bill right now, but the partner, the customer that's coming through a nonprofit knows that they're supporting that nonprofit on a monthly basis. What we and we always, to back up, you'll hear us say this sometimes, version 1, version 10. And what that means is a lot of times people, and I'm a parking, I'm going somewhere right here with me. Stay with me here. Sometimes people will have this version 10 idea And because they have the version 10 idea, they never, ever, ever start with version 1 because they don't have all the things they need, right? So when you
Sure.
hear us say version 1, version 10, what that means is in our version 10, our perfected thought, perfected version of Love Mobile, everything that we want, everything we have. In the version 10, everything's there. With the version 1, though, is we're here. And this is like where we are right now is version 1. In our roadmap, we have the plan to build out dashboards to show impact numbers. Because, and I say impact number versus dollar, because this is why it matters in nonprofit world. Nonprofits know how to take $1 and make $10 out of it. So for a regular person seeing a dollar amount, they will in their brain think about what I could do with that amount in my household. Where one of our nonprofit partners can take $1 and create 4 meals off of $1. So now if someone sees this many dollars was given to the nonprofit, oh, that's a meal that's a nice restaurant meal. However, for that nonprofit, that amount could equate to 300 meals for that community, right? So to answer your question, we do have it where people that sign up know that the funds are going towards that nonprofit. The nonprofit does put out like different reports of what's happening. We put out our reports, the impact reports for those people. But the goal is to have built into their space dashboards that we can log in and see the actual impact, quantify what they're doing. So it's on our roadmap, version 10. We're in version 1, so we're not there yet. But we do try to advertise it and express how much the impact is having. We just do it on a mass scale versus the individual scale.
I'll add this real quickly. One of our nonprofit partners said, and it's an average of like 30 accounts, and they provide laundry services for the unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that every 30 accounts equals 1,000 loads of laundry.
Mm-hmm.
That's impact. That is impact. For every 31 accounts, it could literally equal 1,000 loads of clean clothes. That's impacting your neighbor.
Yeah, they have a traveling trailer they take around the city in Oklahoma to the unhoused community because a lot of them can't get to places to wash clothes or take showers, right? Because they're unhoused. So most places don't want unhoused people in their spaces, right? So what this organization does is they have custom made trailers. They let's say like big, maybe 30, 20, 30-foot trailers. And they have like 2 or 3 of them. One, they convert it to have multiple showers in it. And then the other one they convert to have laundry, like a half of it is a laundromat where you can do like wash your clothes and dry them, and the other half is for like barbers to do haircuts, like a barbershop. And then the last part of the trailer is for caseworkers, those who are working on getting housing, getting different things. They can meet with the caseworkers, and they're out there I want to say every day that I know of, every day of the week in 2 different the major cities in Oklahoma. And the power of that is those 1,000 loads of laundry are people that are on the street that can't go anywhere else to wash clothes. Did you know? Now, this is not the did you know section, but Ian, I'm going to give you a did you know. Did you know that the number one reason that people that are unhoused die is not because of violence, is not because of accidental overdoses. It's nothing like that. It is hygiene. Hygiene is the number one killer of people that are unhoused when they cannot wash and take showers. So the power of what they do is they're actually helping the community by allowing them to go in and take showers for free. Don't charge them for it. And those customers that come to Love Mobile that support Love Mobile, that support that nonprofit, it's 30. I think it's 30 or 31. Koddi, you said it. That creates 1,000 loads of laundry, not including whatever happens on the shower side, right? So that's the power of what Love Mobile is. And these people just paying a cell phone bill just like everybody else. And our cell phone bills start off as low as $15. We're not charging more money to give back, right? We're starting off as low as $15. And in that $15 plan, you have features that some of the big costs companies have, such as like roaming to Canada and Mexico, such as free international calling to 80 countries, right? Unlimited in that $15 plan. So we're not taking the price down, they're taking all the features away, and we're not raising the price and then, saying this is a good thing, you should support it. We're trying to be in a space where everybody wins. The customer wins and the nonprofit wins. And we're just the middleman. We're just like connecting the two pieces, saying just come this way and we'll pass it. And then they get the benefit and you'll see in the community how everything is better. All because you are a Love Mobile subscriber. So that's the thought behind that.
Interesting. And did you feel that, when you sold the story, I guess, to the operators, the three operators there, did they feel that they want to be part of this journey as well and have helped you in the give back model?
Absolutely. You don't get to 3 networks, right? You don't get access to those towers and services without relationship. It matters. And that's up and down the story from the smallest partner to our largest partners. I don't want to just highlight 3 names. No, everybody along the way that has said, Wade and Koddi, I get it. This makes sense. And I can be a part of it. Here's what my company can do, right? Those relationships are why Love Mobile went from 1 network in beta to 3 in 6, maybe 9 months. It doesn't happen, but it did.
Yeah.
It did happen, and it happened because of Love Mobile and people understanding this moment and this opportunity is bigger than a married couple from Tulsa. I get it. That's the headline, but it's so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger than 2 people with an idea. It only works because a community in telecom is getting behind us and saying, we see you, we've got your back, let's push this forward. Here's where I can give a little bit and help out a little bit. And I think telecom is really responding, and that is exciting. That is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, and I'll say, let me just add on. Someone said before, if your car ever breaks down the road and you need help, right? Don't sit in the car in the driver's seat expecting someone to come help you push your car and you're not helping. But if you get out the car and start pushing, people will see you trying to push this car by yourself, and they'll be inspired to come and help. So I say it to say that we didn't sit on the sidelines with this thought of this company, right? And then just kept talking about it, sitting in the car, if you will, while the car was on the side of the road. We had the idea, and then we got to work, right? We started working it. We did a lot of work to build it. We did a lot of work to invest a lot of our money into it, right, to get it to where it is. I think that also inspires people because it's not we're talking about this great idea, but we don't have any, as they say, any skin in the game. We didn't like put anything into it, right? We're just talking about it and everybody else is sacrifice. No, they see the sacrifices that we're making, see the sacrifices that were made to get to this point, see the sacrifices we're willing to make. And I think going back to what Koddi said in the beginning of the call, as far as the sincerity, we are sincerely trying our best to make things better, right? That's the sincerity of who we are, and we will work beside you to help build this house, to help build this thing that will we may not, people live in houses all day, every day that they did not build, right? You never meet the carpenter, you'll never meet the person that ran your plumbing or your electrician. You may never meet them, but you will benefit from them. You and your family benefits from living in that house, having shelter because someone else made the sacrifice for you. And that's how we are at Love Mobile. We are like you may never see us, see the people behind the scenes that are making this happen for that family that will be impacted positively because of things that we build, that we will build and walk away and let it be your shelter, let it be your covering, let it be your platform to allow you to stand on, to reach and get the things you need. So that, I think, helps all of our partners see that and say, you know what, I want to be a part of that. I have this I can bring to the table. Is this something you need? And sometimes people bring stuff and we don't need it right now, right? It's like, oh, we don't need that right now. But that's the inspiration that people feel when they hear the story and they get connected to it. They want to be a part and they say, I have this to bring. Can this help? If it can help, like, yes, this is great. And then we put it in the pipeline and and so I think that's what allowed the operators and other partners to kind of get behind us and give us what we needed to get here.
So you were saying that you're on version 1 and there's a version 10 in the drawer to be pulled
Yes.
out, which is great. And there are steps in between. But, what is the plan for the future, the next steps? And particularly, I think, for our podcast, I mean, I don't know if you've looked at numbers. I guess you don't know them. But we are being listened to across the world in like 100 countries or so. So that also is impactful. So also related to operators or other partners, any asks on your side that what you're looking for and anything missing in that jigsaw that, you were saying yourself before we started recording about, I can explain to someone what I want and they can then deliver it or not. But is there other one or two things that, wish list of things you'd like to get to version 2 or 3 from the industry?
Some things we can say, some things we can't, but we do have a list. I'll let Koddi, because I'll get deep. I'll let Koddi, you go high level, Koddi. You tell them the answer because I'll get deep into the weeds with it.
Listen, Ian, I'm going to say it like this. Love is for everybody. Everybody needs love. Everybody around the world. So why not? Why not love? Why not now? So anytime that we can expand and go into global markets, let's go. Where's the need? Let's do it. We can't continue to wait for rescue. No one else is coming. It's on us. And so if there is an organization or corporation that is in agreement with that, let us know. Call us. We're approachable.
Sure.
We love to expand love. I think this is a real answer. And it could help a lot of people. And as long as that is the foundation, we're good. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
More love, right?
So you think I think she's kind of tapping on what she's talking about, expansion, right? We're open to expansion and not to just do the regular traditional methods. All right, not just do the regular traditional telecom methods. There are a lot of new methods out there to deliver connectivity to the world, right? And if people are in that, we lean into technology. We're not legacy telecom people, so it's not like it got to come this way. No, we are in our previous company. We leaned into technology to where we were pioneering a lot of stuff in the industry in that space, and similar to what we're doing here with Love, right? We're doing a new thing in this industry that's been around for a while. So we are open to expansion through new technologies. There are so many new technologies where the way we do telecom right now is it's good, but there's so many, like I was reading so many new technologies where it's like device to device. There's like, there's satellite there. There's so many different ways to deliver connectivity now. And Love Mobile can harness all that to make communities better. If our communities are better, we're all better, right? We all have communities that suffer. And the reason why they suffer is because they don't have the ability to have the resources to be able to thrive. So now if we can create a vehicle that doesn't take away from anyone, right? It doesn't, this vehicle we have right here doesn't take away from anyone paying a cell phone bill. You're paying it anyway, right? Over $1,000 in the US, over $1,000 a year is paid in a wireless cell phone bill per customer. So we're not taking away anything from you. If you still want to pay $1,000 to Love Mobile, we will gladly accept you as a customer. But the difference is what we do with that 1,000 is that it's now helping bring resources into your local community to help those who may not have the $1,000 to pay for a cell phone bill, right? May not have food to eat tonight. They may not have the ability to send their kid to school with the proper utensils or proper tools to learn, right? So we can take this model into any market across the globe and roll it out, and it won't take away from anyone. It'll benefit everyone. So yes, and if you have some connections, send them our way. If anyone's listening that say, hey, I think I want to help Love expand. I have some new connectivity things that's coming out that I want to see if they're interested in. Reach out to us.
Well, you said help. You didn't say sell. So don't load my calendar with a bunch of sales call, folks. I want to give to you what I could be using to give back.
It's all about the margins. All about the margins. Got to protect the margins.
Yeah, I have to protect the margins. Like I start calls with, hi, my name is Koddi. I'm here to protect my margins. How can I help you? Because I got to give back. I got to give back.
Got to give back.
Yeah, hold your sales call. But if you're trying to do the work, let's go.
Fantastic. And where does this energy come from, and what do you get back from the project itself? What is it that keeps you waking up every day going, let's go?
Impact.
Yeah. Legacy. Impact. Yeah.
If all I do is live and die and I didn't make it better, I wasted time. When you understand, and I spend a lot of time researching, my ancestry, history, like Wade said, a lot of people went through a lot of things for you to sit in that seat. How dare you not pay it forward? How dare you go, well, I'm good, so no, you owe it. You owe it to the ones coming behind you to do something that makes it a little easier for them so they can make it better for the next generation. And that generation can make the impact. That unhoused person that gets to use a love phone to call home because they've had a shower may be an encouragement to their kid who hadn't seen them. And then who knows what that kid is going to be, who that kid could be, because some of their worry about their relative who's unhoused is resolved for a little bit. Like, we owe it to society to think beyond ourselves. What a terrible existence if all you do is make sure you're good.
Yeah. It becomes,
No.
when you make sure you're good, it is similar to having a house with a fence all the way around it, and everything inside your fence is beautiful, but outside the fence is terrible, and you can't leave your house because you've made yourself so well, and you neglected your neighbors and the ones around you that you can't even go outside your house to enjoy it, outside your fence line, because you didn't do anything to help make sure the world's better, right? This is a saying I want to leave with the people that are listening, because this is a truth here. You may not know my name, and I'm not saying me, but I'm saying, like, in life and in history, you may not know the name of the person that created the computer you're on, who created the headphones you're listening to this on, who created the lights, bulbs you're using in your house, but you will know their impact. You'll know their impact because you're using the computer that you don't know the name of the person that created it, but it's impacting you every day. You're using headphones right now to listen to music, to listen to this podcast that you didn't create. So the thought behind what wakes us up is that we don't have to be famous. We actually, Ian, if you ever know us, and you saw us in Alicante, we are low key people. We will prefer to sit in the back of the room and listen, right? Participate and listen.
Observe.
Yes, observe. And we love connecting with people on a one-on-one. Hey, how you doing? One-on-one. But being on stage it gives us anxiety. It does. We both have this terrible,
It's not our preference.
but we have to do it because we have to tell the story of love. We love. Don't get me wrong. We love. If someone wants to invite us, we'll come. Yes, we'll come, and
Yes,
if we don't, we're not
gladly.
difficult. But
But it's not our default. We're
yeah,
not the
it's not our
ones that are
default.
running, for the platform. We're running to do the work. And if on the way that means I've got to sit in for a podcast or I've got to be on a panel or a keynote, I will. I'll come and I'll do it because the work that we're doing deserves it. That work is bigger than my fear or my hesitation. That work requires me to be all in beyond my comfortability. So that's what you get when you get us. It's not that we want to, but are we willing to? And that answer is absolutely yes. Whatever it takes. Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what gives us the legacy and impact. Those two, I think, words will summarize what makes us do what we do, why we do it. Legacy and impact. Impact, you don't know who did it. Legacy, it lasts for eternity.
Fantastic. And I see that you, as you say, you sit at the back of the room and you observe. So, and you're also obviously looking at different challenges and how you can make an impact yourselves. But obviously, you're fully, I think, engaged with this project and Love Mobile and making that success at the moment. But outside of that, is there some sort of particular society issue that needs addressing right now, which you would like society to address, which is not being covered by the project?
Well, that's a hard question because we are executors and we don't sit back and look at a problem. If there is an issue, our brains go into overdrive on how to address that. And I'll say quickly, one of the things as a mom of 7, I understand the power of self-help and boundaries and mental health and pausing. And we are incredibly intentional about creating spaces where people can turn off the noise. One of our plans, Ian, is called a love line, and it's low data. And I tell people, here's how I use it. Only 3 people in the world have that number. And because it's a low data and I don't put it on Wi-Fi, it makes me pause. When I go and it's funny because my love line, I gave it the phone number of my favorite vacation spot. So I can be at home, but when I go into and I switch my phone to that particular number, I shut out the world. And it's an opportunity for me to work on my mental health, because mental health is important. And sometimes you just got to have that boundary where you turn off all that society noise, all the scrolling, all the notifications. Nobody can reach me for a moment. I need to be still. I need to center, right? And so mental health is so important. Having personal boundaries and understanding why you need stillness and why stillness is a superpower is something I'm so passionate about, because as a mom, you'll give and do and give and do, and then the day is over and you didn't have any time for yourself, and then somebody asks you for something and you're like, wow, and you're going, where did that come from? Well, ma'am, you're tired. You haven't had a moment to just kind of reset. And so mental health is one of those things I'm passionate about. Personal boundaries, having that opportunity to reset, if you will. And so we don't look at problems like everybody else and go, oh wow, that's a problem, how bad? No, 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 no. We dive in. And I'm looking at Wade and I'm going, okay, so what we need is a line where nobody can call you except for 2 or 3 people, and you can't doom scroll and waste all your time, but it gives you an opportunity to reset yourself and your mental health. So that's how we look at problems. It's an opportunity to solve a question, answer a question.
Answer your question. I think I'll go a little bit deeper, if that's okay, Ian, a little bit deeper. I think you said, yeah, the question was what problem would we like to solve that we can't solve or we haven't baked out a solution for yet? I think, I constantly go over this in my mind. It's a constant thought and a constant thought in my mind that really is a thorn. That really is a thorn that is uncomfortable, and I cannot figure out why and how. That thorn is this. We live on this planet together, and this is how we don't think how we're all connected. And we live on this beautiful planet together, and we don't have anywhere else to go. I know people were talking about trying to take us to Mars and all those different things, but those are great ideas. But for right now, we're all here together. I want to try to solve this. The company's called Love for a reason, and I want to try to solve this issue or this lack of love for one another. I think in the earth, it troubles me. Wars trouble me. They do. Wars trouble me severely. I deal with it. When there's wars and I hear of wars and conflict, it troubles me because I think, where else will we go? Where else will we go when we conquer one culture, one group of people? Where else will we go? Like, we conquer to be conquered. If you look at history, that's the story of history. Those who've conquered have become conquered. And it goes on and on and on. How many beautiful beings are no longer here because we couldn't love, because we couldn't just get along? We couldn't just say, you know what? I have a piece of bread. You want half of this piece of bread. I'll give you a half because at least I'll still have my half. Versus saying, no, this piece of bread is mine. I'll kill you because I want this bread. It bothers me. It bothers me that we haven't solved that. There's enough space on this earth for everyone to have at least an acre of land. At least an acre of land. I haven't done the math. Someone's going to probably say on your podcast, "Oh, that's wrong. He's wrong." I may be wrong, but I feel like there's enough space on this earth for us all to have enough, right? Enough to be happy, enough to live with the pursuit of happiness and joy and peace. All these things are what everyone wants. And I don't think, as much as me and Koddi are executors, as much as we love to solve problems, I don't know if that problem will be solved by us. But it does, I think it does hinge on what Koddi talked about as far as mental health. Most mental health, or let me back up, because that's a broad spectrum. Let me say that love as a child, when someone has love as a child, as an adult, they're more free and more open to love. A person that is neglected as a child, not given love, not shown words of affirmation, not given words of affirmation, not given patience, right? They grow up with this, they don't know how to love, and they don't know how to show love, and they don't show love because that little child inside has never received love, and it shows. They just have this is mine. It starts as a child. So maybe I'm answering my own question by saying maybe love can focus, and maybe it'll be love. Maybe another company, me and Cody will do. I don't know, but maybe we'll focus on children, making sure children have the proper things for love in their environment growing up.
I mean, education is one of our pillars, right? So it matters. And I would love for other industries to look at our model and go, where else could we do that? Right. And I would love for the public to begin to hold corporations accountable and say, what else are you doing with my bill? What else could you do with my bill?
I seem to remember in Alicante, SDGs was something you were highlighting that you're working towards. Are there any particular ones that you aspire to or focus on?
I mean, I think there's a couple of them. Just naturally the way the model is set up, like the either the no poverty or the quality education, right? You can go there, reduce inequalities. A lot of the nonprofits in these, especially in our community pillar, because there's 4 pillars we support. I don't know if we said that already. It's education, the environment, community service and initiatives, and pet service and initiatives. So the way that we structured this Love Mobile, a lot of them are already being impacted just by the pillars we support because of nonprofits. For example, when you think about SDG 1, SDG 4, no poverty, quality education, one of our nonprofit partners in the US is Girls Inc., right? Girls Inc. of Greater Atlanta. Now, what they do is they do direct work with young girls to help them overcome, not overcome, but help them around economic empowerment, STEM access, which is personal development, leadership development, and there's a lot of things they do to help girls in these inner cities and these communities, empower them to have a safe place to learn and grow. The origin story of that nonprofit, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary right now. The origin story was that nonprofit started because a little young girl in the community she was gathering with her friends. This was years ago. This is in the 50 years ago, I think. Maybe 70, 60 years ago.
60s and 70s, yeah.
So anyway, this little girl was just gathering with her friends, as kids did back then, gather with their friends, and they didn't have a place to gather, so they would just gather at the local laundromat, right? That's what they did. After school, they gathered. She was like, what, 7 years, I think, Cody? Was he 7, 8? She was a little girl.
Yeah, she was young.
And one day she didn't show up. One day she didn't show up, and they found her body later. Someone killed her. And that's what started this. It was called Girls Club of America, and they changed the name in the 90s to Girls Inc. But it started because a mom said, our girls deserve better. Our girls deserve to have a safe space to learn, to grow, to be empowered. And this turned into this national. It started in Georgia, and it started into this international, really, because they're in U.S. and Canada. And it started in this little space like that. And these are nonprofits that we support that are impacting different things. There's another nonprofit that we support called 1256 Movement out of Oklahoma. This is directly focused on SDG 10 and I would say even 1, which is they go into neighborhoods that have been, resources have come out of the neighborhoods and these houses are falling apart and they don't have value anymore because the neighborhood, the city isn't giving them value. And because of this, these people that's been living in these houses for, maybe 60, 70, maybe 100 years even, who built these houses, lost resources. And what this nonprofit does is it goes in and identifies houses in the community that are owned by people that are in poverty, that they would love to fix it up. Their roofs are falling apart. They can't afford it. And the floors are falling apart, electrical, whatever it is. And this nonprofit will go in and pay to get it up to $10,000 to get that done for them with nothing they ask for in return. And this is a nonprofit, Oklahoma. Yeah, so this is called 1256 Movement. And that movement was started because of something that happened over 100 years ago in the U.S. where people had houses, but they were forced to leave their houses, right? If you look at history, and that's why I said it troubles my heart how we just don't have love because these people was forced away from these houses. The houses was burned down to the ground. They were killed. And when they was forced out of their house, they had to live in tents 100 years ago. Their descendants, once they were allowed to rebuild, they rebuilt some of these houses and some of these houses in this neighborhood, in this community that are now deemed they don't have value. So they can't get the loan to pay to get the roof rebuilt. They can't get the approval or the funding, and they don't have the funds. In America and in the global market, you guys can kind of, in America, this is considered poverty for us. An average household income of $20,000 in the U.S. is considered poverty because the average cost to live in a house in the U.S. is closer to 24,000 a year. Now, that does not include any of utilities. Not you haven't eaten yet, anything like that. So if you have someone making $29,000 for the whole household, not one person, the whole household, and the house cost lives $24,000 in just to live in that house, only is $5,000 for the remaining part of the year. Food by itself can kill that budget. So my point is, they don't have the money to fix this up. So we have those 4 pillars to find nonprofits that are focusing on those things. There is a psychological reason why we focus on those 4 pillars. But to answer your question, I think those are the ones that I feel like that we are closely aligned with. SDG 10, reduce inequalities, SDG 1, poverty, SDG 4, quality of education, and maybe some other ones there too. But that's where I feel like we do it. 1,000 subscribers and our give back model can generate up to 120,000 US dollars for a nonprofit a year in their give back. Now, that can equal, if you're talking about meals, dollars and meals can equal almost 500,000 meals for the community.
Yeah.
Just off of that, off 1,000 subscribers. 500,000 meals in a community impacts poverty, impacts people that can't eat because they have the food insecurity. They can't afford to pay for food. But 500,000 meals in the community, can you imagine just how that alone can impact impoverished community to be able at least you can eat. Let's focus on the other
Yeah.
things that you need to work on.
But putting these basics in place, I call them basics, and maybe that's using the word basic in the wrong way. But, as you say, sort of giving people a reason to live, respect, self-dignity, purpose in life, motivating them, because obviously it can be a negative spiral or a positive spiral, or at least bring it to a stop that people have an opportunity of seeing a horizon of worth living. But I think several of the things you've mentioned, I'd call it scaling. I mean, you talk about education, of course, as you say, one person that you save or one person that you, let's say, turn their life around or help is by definition, they have multiple multipliers, right? Because they're talking to other people. So you're multiplying on that level. And then you're also talking about the non-profits. You're multiplying there, as you say, the funding you provide is allowing them to do that bit more, but it's not just a 1-to-1 ratio, it's 1-to-many ratio. So listen, you guys are doing a great job, and it's been a real pleasure to have you on the podcast. And I am aware of the time as well. I realize this could go on.
This is a good conversation. This
I'm
is so
Always a good
good.
conversation.
I've
So
avoided
good.
to go, but would you like to give someone a shout out or a group or initiative? I mean, you've already talked about some great companies or whatever, but
Oh,
there must be some people involved that you're involved with that you think some credit is worth mentioning. As I say, we like to give back ourselves on this podcast and get people.
I'll shout out Girls Inc. That's the organization that Wade mentioned earlier. What he didn't say was that story of the little girl who was killed. She was from my hometown. And years later, almost 30 years later, I would be a little girl who was a part of Girls Club of America. So I was a part of that organization, and how, fifth grade 10-year-old Koddi, they poured into, and they gave me such a sense of my personal well-being and confidence that I went into, my formative high school years literally believing that I could do anything. And so now here I am absolutely doing anything. And so my shout out would be to Girls Inc. because the Girls Club of America had a crucial part in shaping the woman that I am today.
I like that.
Wow.
That's phenomenal. And if I forgot about, I should have held all my accolades I just gave a few moments ago for this segment. So I will say I enjoy our nonprofit partners, and I'm a piggyback off what Koddi said. And it's like it's the same organization, but it's not. It's actually a different one. It's called Girls Talk. I say that because these two organizations, Girls Inc. and Girls Talk, for me, are empowering the next Koddi. I have 4 daughters, and I have a beautiful wife. And I love my sons, so if my sons are listening, daddy loves you too. So don't feel like I'm empowering all the women. Like, what about us, dad? I love you too. But right now, I want to,
The
these
sons love
not.
their mom, so
Yes,
you know.
they love their mom. But I want to say because, having a 9-year-old daughter and having powerful daughters who are very smart and very well spoken and they speak their mind with such grace. And in rooms that's not always welcome, these organizations are empowering women, little girls to be the next leaders, the next voices. Once we, go on and, finish this mission we're on, they'll be the next generation they're raising right now. They'll take over the baton and run the next lap of the race. And it's organizations like that that are really making the impact quietly. Like Koddi, people don't know Koddi was a Girls Inc. Kid that used to go there after school, right? They actually did an article on her. She was Women's Month was it last month,
March.
in March, and they featured her and as one of the former Girls Club of America little girls that now owns
Alumni.
alumni that owns a cell phone company. But it was, who would she have been? And not saying they did it all, but that was a crucial part of her development.
Yeah.
And they're developing the next Kodis, and that's why like Girls Talk and Girls Inc. are, for me, the two I want to shout out. I already shout out the other nonprofits, so if y'all listen, you just rewind, you'll hear yourself there too. But for this particular segment, I want to definitely shout out Girls Inc. and Girls Talk, which are nonprofit partners of Love Mobile.
Fantastic shout out and worthy shout out of these people. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to bring this wonderful discussion to an end. So you're now both part of the Digital Talk family. That's the way we like to see it as well, because we see cross-pollination between our guests as well. And there is obviously a backlog to listen to. And I think you'll find some interesting companies in there that you maybe want to partner with as well. So it's been a real pleasure to have you on the podcast, Wade and Koddi, and learning how you've created positive impact by giving back through cell phones, as in Europe we call it mobiles.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you for having us. This was a delightful conversation. Can't wait to do it again. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, this is amazing, Ian. Thank you for making us part of the family there. We definitely appreciate that. And look forward to much success. We love this podcast. So, keep it going. Keep it going and keep it growing.
Yep. Thank you very much indeed.
Did you know?
So the answer to that question is 81% of nonprofits in America missed their budget last year. 35% of them actually was operating in a deficit all year. So that's important because it impacts their ability to provide programs and staffing. And 85% is a lot when you think about, only 15% actually have the budget they need to perform their mission, which is why what we do at Love Mobile is so crucial, because we actually help fund their mission on a monthly basis just by taking a portion of the cell phone bills and redirecting it to these nonprofits to help them hit budget.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to rate us and subscribe, and feel free to follow us on LinkedIn. And if you have comments or ideas for future episodes, please send us an email. Thanks for being part of the Digitel Talk community and for listening. Stay tuned.